Hello everybody, I'm Melissa and welcome back to Book Bar and welcome to my May end of month wrap up. If you want to hear about the first 7 books that I read in the month, I will have my mid-month wrap up linked above. But this is my end of month wrap up where I will talk about 11 books and 1 DNF that I had this month, this half of the month. And the first book that I finished was Glow of the Everflame by Penn. And I'm actually just going to talk about the first 2, which was Glow of the Everflame and then Heat of the Everflame by Penn. I read Spark of the Everflame last month and I really enjoyed it. And I needed to continue after that cliffhanger. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to do it. I want to read it. I was like I hadn't finished a book in a while and I was like, I just need a book that's going to suck me in and really get me, and Glow of the Everflame did that because I had heard that that is people's favorite. And then with that cliffhanger at the end of that book, I immediately had to go into book 3. And oh my gosh, both of them were amazing. 5 stars. I don't want to say much because obviously they are books 2 and 3 in a series. Book 1, Spark of the Everflame, follows a girl, DM, who is living in a society where she is a mortal human and lives in like the slums basically. And she and all of her friends and family don't like the Descended, who are these like powerful non-mortal beings that are like children of these gods. And and DM is told to stay away from the Descended. Like her mom doesn't want her to have anything to do with the Descended. And then she sees her mom talking to this guy, and then she goes missing. And now she has been missing for like 6 months, and DM has taken over her role as the healer and things like that, and things go, and she meets a man named Luther, and yeah, it is phenomenal. Things might not be exactly what they seem. But yeah, I absolutely loved it, and I loved Glow and Heat of the Everflame, and I gave them both 5 stars. Then I read Skies Over Caledonia by Samantha Young, and this is the 4th book in her Helen series. This follows Aria's sister, Allegra, Aria from book 2. And Allegra has basically gone to Ardnach every like 6 months and like stayed there for like 6 months, but like pretty much every time she could go back she went, and she's gone back, and the customs people are like, you can't come back, like this is your last time here, like you've basically been living here without getting a visa, so sorry, like this is it, and this is like your last trip here. And she's like, well, what am I gonna do? She tries to convince her sister to give her a job. Her sister's like, no, I don't want that for you. You have dreams and goals and plans. And so she goes to the bar, which she is sober because of what happened when she was young, which that happened in Beyond the Thistles, so book 1. But you don't have to have read book 1. Obviously it makes more sense in the whole story if you read them all in order, but you don't have to. This one actually has a significant time jump from book 3. But yeah, so she's at a bar and she sees Jared McCulloch, who is a farmer in town, and he is drinking his day away because his dad is awful and he got some very upsetting news. So he's just like drinking, and he needs money, like desperately. His farm is not doing so good and he needs money. And so Allegra concocts a plan. She's like, I have money. I need to stay in town. So she convinces him to marry her and enter into a marriage of convenience. And yeah, it was phenomenal. The amount of times Jared said, my wife, phenomenal. There is like an author's note at the beginning that says like, this wouldn't happen. Like this is not possible in Scotland. But for the sake of the story, we're rolling with it. So do know that, like, which I do appreciate that the author did take the time to say like, this isn't real life. Like it is a story. This is for the sake of the story. But yeah, I adored it so much. 5 stars, like I said. Then I read Powerful by Lauren Roberts, and this is the novella after Powerless. And if you know how Powerless ends, you know that this is going to absolutely gut you, and it did. I cried my little heart out. Emotional damage is all I wrote down. I don't want to say too much because it is a novella. It's 0.5 in a book. series. So read Powerless and then read Powerful. Then I read Breakaway by Anastasjia White. I read this for my new release vlog. I'll have a link above. But this is a married in Vegas, kind of It's Always Been You hockey romance following Roman and Neva. And Roman and Neva are, Roman's teammate is, so this is like book 3, but I haven't read the other 2 books, but I didn't feel like I was missing anything. But Roman's teammate is dating, fake dating, Neva's best friend. And they meet at like a party one night, and Roman is like instantly like attracted to her, but she has a boyfriend, and so he's kind of like standoffish towards her because he has a lot of trauma in his past. And yeah, then she breaks up with her boyfriend because she realizes that he was going to propose and she didn't want that. And she runs into Roman, and things go from there. They end up in Vegas. They end up married. And yeah, the 3rd act conflict was very frustrating because he completely jumped to conclusions, which I absolutely hate when heroes just jump to conclusions. They don't even listen to the heroine side of the story. So that did knock it down a little bit. So I ended up only giving it 4.5 stars, but yeah, I had a good time with it, and I definitely suggest it. Then I read King of Sloth by Anna Huang. This is the gorgeous Target edition with that. And this follows Javier and Sloan. Yeah, Sloan. And Sloan is a publicist for Javier and his family. And Javier has always kind of been like her problem child. Like she has 2 problem children, and one of them is Javier. And she like shows up at his like villa in Greece and like is like, oh, you have to be at this place. And he's like, yeah, I don't want to go. And she's like, no, you have to go. And so he's like, well, then you have to come with me to Spain for a month. And she's like, fine, or a week or whatever. And she's like, fine. So they go. While they're in Spain, something happens and they have to go to Colombia, I think. I don't know, somewhere. I don't remember where Javier's from, but wherever Javier is from, they have to go to that country. It's somewhere in South America. And they go there, and his father passes away. And in the will, Javier is told that to get his inheritance and to keep his like family's money, he has to become the CEO of a company. But it doesn't specify what company. So he sets out to start his own company and become the CEO of it. Obviously the success is not based off of what he thinks. There is a panel, and it includes Sloan, his uncle, Javier's uncle, his dad's business partner and best friend, who is acting CEO of the company, someone else that's in like the current company that doesn't like Javier, and then Dante from book 1. So it's very interesting. I loved it. They kind of go into like a dating deal. Like they're going to date because they both have feelings for each other. They know they do. And so they're going to date for like a month or 2 or 3 months or whatever it is and see where things go. And yeah, I loved it. Sloan has some issues with her family, but I loved this. 5 stars. I have not read, these books just are phenomenal. King of Greed is still like top tier favorite romance, but this is close. Then I read Forbidden Game by Madison Fox, and I read this for my new release vlog. Also, this is the 2nd book in Madison's The System series. This follows gamers, and this one is Parker, who is the British gamer. His name is English Coffee, and it follows him and their publicist. I think she's a publicist, works in PR, whatever, Sydney. And they had a like night together 5 years ago where they met and were instantly attracted to each other. And then the next day, Sydney is introduced as their publicist. And Parker is kind of the playboy, fun guy, like the rich boy. His family owns a bunch of hotels, and he is told at the beginning that because now that they have unmasked themselves, he needs to either like give up his shares or take his seat at the company and stop being a gamer. And so he convinces his grandfather that if he wins this big tournament, that he will be able to keep his shares. And his grandfather's like, okay, fine, because he doesn't think like there's prestige in gaming. So his grandfather's like, okay, fine. So he does all this, like he enters into these, Sydney gets him into these competitions, and through that, they go traveling. There's one bed. It's adorable. There's like an adorable caretaking scene. There's just, it's phenomenal. I gave it 5 stars. If you want more thoughts, check out my blog. Then I read Vows and Ruins by Helen Schuerer. This is the 2nd book in the Legends of Thesmar series, and I enjoyed it. I gave it 4.5, but like thinking back, it's probably more like a 4, like a 4-star. It was a lot of like, will they, won't they? And then they were like together, and then the twist happened, and yeah, I can't say much because obviously it's book 2 in a series. But this follows Thea and Wilder, and Thea is like in this town where they live, it is illegal for a woman to wield a weapon. But Thea's dream in life is to become a warlord, and so she would have to wield a weapon for that. And she gets caught wielding a weapon by Wilder Hawthorne. Things go from there. She enters into a competition basically to become a guardian of the land, ends up becoming a guardian, and now she has to be an apprentice with Wilder. She has to be a Wilder's apprentice, and yeah, it was good. A lot happens. I didn't remember, like, so I had read Selling the Shadow Prince first, which I think you're supposed to read it technically after this book. And people said that it kind of spoils things. I guess I loved Selling the Shadow Prince, but like, I don't remember it spoiling things. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. But like looking back, it's probably not a favorite. Like, I think it suffers from like a middle book syndrome. So we'll see. I'm gonna read Fates and Furies soon, hopefully. So yeah. Then I read another arc, and that was Gridlocked on the Gridiron by Vi Denton. This is Lucia and Colton, and Lucia is I also read this for my nearly slug. Lucia has a fiance, and he is caught cheating. And problem with this is she also works with her fiance as an analyst, because for the team that he's the star quarterback of. Well, the football team decides that Lucia is going to be a problem and fires her. Well, but her boss kind of sticks up for her and is like, this isn't her fault. So she finds her another job. And this job just happens to be with the team of her ex-fiance's college rival, Colton. And so when she shows up, Colton is like, no, this is not, like, she's here to spy. And she's like, no, I'm here to help you. You've been sucking. Even though you won the Super Bowl last year, you have been sucking. So, of course, you know, they spend more time together. They get caught in like a kind of intimate moment that wasn't really very intimate, but it looked. And so it's kind of like, okay, we're gonna date to make these rumors seem okay. So they fake date, and of course fake dating leads to real feelings. It was so good. So as I said in Breakaway, where I hate where the hero just jumps to conclusions and won't listen to the heroine, this had a moment where he could have just completely, like, he had like a split second of like jumping to conclusions, but then he was kind of like, wait, and he thought about it, and then like something else happened, but he did listen to her in the end. Like, he wanted to hear her out. So yeah, I really enjoyed it. I gave it 5 stars. Then I sadly DNF'd a gorgeous, gorgeous book. But I DNF'd Caught Looking by Meghan Quinn. This was one of Meghan Quinn's like first books, I think. And you can tell the writing's just not great. And I kept wanting to do absolutely anything else other than read. And when I'm in that kind of mood, I just know it's not a book that I want to keep reading. And I should just cut my losses and DNF it. So yeah, I DNF'd this. I'm still going to keep it because just the cover is stunning. And yeah, maybe one day I'll go back, like when I'm in like the headspace and can do it, or if an audiobook ever comes out, maybe I'll try that. But it jumps around a lot of like the POVs jump around a lot, and there's more than just two. It's more than just the hero and the heroine. It's like follows a whole friend group. So, and I just wasn't feeling that. So maybe one day, but for now I did DNF it. Then I read Swift and Saddled by Lyla Sage. This is the second book in the Rebel Blue Ranch series. This follows Ada and Wes, and you kind of saw them at the end of the first book. Well, Wes was seen throughout because he is Emmy's brother. But Ada is the designer that is coming to help change the old big house into what will be like guest ranches. And they have a moment at a bar where neither of them know each other, and they, you know, might do a little kissing. And then she shows up, and it's the designer, and he is her new boss. And, you know, things are gonna happen. People are gonna push them together. It was cute. But I just felt like that's what it was. It was cute. Is it gonna be a like new favorite? No. But I did give it 4.5 stars. It was fun. I enjoyed it, and I'm excited for the next book and the book after that. It's very, like, crumbs were left for book 4's couple. And I am feral for them because I love Second Chance. So yeah. Then the last book that I finished was my reread of Part of Your World by Jimenez. After reading just for the summer last month, I wanted to pick up this book. It's one of my favorites. I love it. This follows Daniel and Alexis, and Alexis it's age gap where she is older than him. Alexis hits a raccoon or ends up in a ditch somehow, and Daniel is the one to rescue her, and they have a night together where she goes home with him to see his baby goat, and they have a night together, and she kind of like sneaks out. But then, you know, fate keeps bringing them back together, and they end up, it's just adorable. I love it. Obviously, he is from a small town. She is a big city doctor, like doctor royalty, basically. And yeah, he's just not part of her world. So it's very good. I love this book so, so, so much. It's a favorite for sure. So yeah, that is my May end of month wrap up. Stay tuned for my stats and faves as my next video. If you made it to the end of this video, leave me a pocket watch or some sort of clock emoji for King of Sloth. And yeah, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, all the fun stuff. It really helps me out, and I'll talk to you all in the next one. Bye.